Let's talk about death. It is a difficult subject. Cicely Saunders was a nurse, social worker, physician, writer, and hospice care innovator. She is said to be the founder of the modern hospice care movement. She wrote extensively on the role of healthcare members working with patients nearing the end of life. She stressed the importance of recognizing and addressing the patient's total pain, physical, social, psychological, and spiritual. When a person is experiencing spiritual pain, a chaplain's expertise and training is all important. The chaplain, as much as possible, provides compassionate listening while guiding conversations that are rooted in spiritual matters, the divine, the matters of faith, hope, and peace. Death is a difficult subject. It often brings deep spiritual distress or pain. Consider the kinds of pain experienced by the dying and their family and friends. These often include grief, questions like, why is this happening and where is God in all this? Concerns and questions about the afterlife, conflicted or challenged belief systems, loss of faith, concerns with meaning and purpose for life, concerns with relationship to God. We can certainly learn some important lessons from studies conducted by chaplains who work in emergency care, often dealing with the immediate aftermath of the death of a loved one in tragic circumstances. The journal article titled "A Beacon in the Storm" presents findings regarding the work of chaplains in emergency situations. These findings are easily transferable to other settings, especially when working with end-of-life patients and their families. In emergency rooms, immediate family are often present during the medical team's heroic efforts to save the life of their loved one. Families often watch in horror as CPR is given and shocks delivered to the heart and tubes are inserted, clothing is removed, and so many other things. The family members of patients who had died in the ICU indicated that the most distressing experiences were not being able to say goodbye, witnessing resuscitation efforts, and seeing their loved one gasping for breath. There are 5 important things to remember here, and you should write these down. They are communication, meaning, proximity, comfort, and support. These summarize well the work of chaplaincy in all settings, but most especially when dealing with death and dying. Communication, which is the central and concerns not only the exchange of information, but also the importance of experiencing an emotional connection between the patient and the care professional. In chaplaincy, we call this all-important work the ministry of presence. Meaning, which includes a need for understanding, for significance, rituals, and religious practices. Proximity, which is essential for reassurance and reaching closure, particularly during resuscitation and after death. Closure is often facilitated by a reassuring touch. Being near and accessible and showing up is so important. Comfort, which encompasses needs for physical self-care and emotional comfort. This implies a willingness to listen and for the chaplain to become comfortable in sitting in silence. Support, which concerns the relational context and the presence of other accompanying persons. The importance of presence, both undivided and non-judgmental. The presence of the chaplain available to provide loving, compassionate, empathetic support. In chaplaincy, we call this all-important work the ministry of presence. According to Dirksen, presence is known to enhance feelings of relief and trust on the part of patients and families, and the development of new coping strategies. In essence, these elements become a working foundation for the work of chaplains. As we stated throughout this CPE education, the two most important skills of a chaplain are found in being expert in religion and communication. We must have knowledge of belief systems represented by the people we serve. We are not there to lead people out of problems, but to walk with them in the problem until they identify a solution for themselves that will work for them. And we pray for God to draw them near to Him in the process. The Journal of Pain and Symptom Management, Volume 51, Number 4, April 2016, provides a conceptual framework for clergy in end-of-life education. There are 3 core dimensions of clergy called being, doing, and believing. These serve well to illustrate the work we chaplains do for the dying. In being, we are really talking about the ministry of presence. This requires a commitment that goes beyond a 10-minute chat. In our lane of spiritual care, we are looking to be transformational, not informational. Therefore, listening is a priority. We provide a sacred space and walk alongside a patient while we listen to understand, not necessarily to agree, and certainly not to argue or correct. We listen to create a safe space for the person to share their story. We listen to achieve empathy and exhibit a caring heart. Part of good listening is asking deeper questions. It is important for them to talk more than it is important for us to talk. Deeper questions encourage them to do just that. We then paraphrase back to them our understanding of how they feel, what they think, what are their fears, and what they most desire to be at peace. In doing, we are talking about the specific activities that clergy will engage in as part of their offer of spiritual care. These may be highly influenced by culture and faith experience. In this study, the vast majority of documented clergy encounters were conducted for people of the clergy's own faith or church. There was freedom to engage in ritual, reading holy texts, pray, sing, meditate, receive confession, and other issues because the chaplain was working with a person already familiar with the same kinds of religious experience as taught by the clergy. But in professional chaplaincy, we see the importance of being religious experts so that we can identify the familiar to a patient and find a way to provide for them in their context a plan of care that brings them peace. It may be that we step outside of our own comfort zone and religious paradigm to offer a ritual or a service that is helpful to them. That is fine as long as it does not violate your code of conduct and personal beliefs. It can create some conflict, and when it does, we work to find someone from their own faith system to help if we can. In doing, we see the importance of becoming an expert on various religions and a bridge to other faith leaders in our communities. In believing, we are primarily responsible for spiritual care, which implies a belief in spiritual matters, an afterlife, and the existence of God. It always amazes me when I encounter a professional chaplain who is cold or terse or impersonal, uncaring and engaged only for the purpose of getting information to complete a checklist or a form. Does this person have a firm foundation of belief at all? Where is their love for people and genuine interest in their story? You will encounter people like this in your chaplain career. I pray you will not be one of them. A person's relationship with the Creator is of paramount importance in finding true peace. Many emotions are influenced by a person's relationship with God and our belief in who or what the Creator is. People experiencing end of life, as well as their families, certainly experience the emotions of grief. But through the process of spiritual care, we also encourage and nurture the emotions of hope, love, peace, comfort, and strength, while offering reassurance of their faith in life after death. Chaplains encourage people to experience a deeper relationship with God before they pass from this life into the next. In being, doing, and believing, chaplains exercise within their calling the art and craft of religion and communication. It is truly only through a relationship that a person may open the door for a chaplain to explain the reason for the hope they have in God. Such opportunities will happen if you let God do the work while you do the listening. In safe relationships where people feel loved, accepted, and encouraged is where they will open the door of faith for the chaplain to step in. This is why we do not proselytize, but rather we trust God to do the drawing while we practice being, doing, and believing.